Hey everybody, welcome back to the Print3D channel. Today is September 10th, and that means day 253 of the 3DP 365 project. And on today's episode, we printed out that popular Squizzle model, and because it was so darn cute, we printed out another one, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here for day 253 of the 3DP 365 project. Yeah, we printed out that real popular Squizzle model, and our print turned out pretty good. This is the first print. This is the MatterHackers Pro PLA Silver print. And I wanted to dial in my settings a little bit because I'm working on my temperature settings, because I think the gMax is pretty dialed in by itself. It's the files I feed to the gMax that need to be dialed in a little bit better, which include temperature and retraction and infill and all those other fun things. So this was my first print of the Squizzle, which gave me a chance to reprint it again, which we did in the MatterHackers Pro Series Blond. And that print turned out even better than the silver one. Actually, I think they're both really, really good prints, but this one shows improvement. So I'm not going to print out another one because I don't want to go through those same iterations like I did with the Cheeky Monkey print. But I think these prints turned out really, really good. This is a very, very good test model because it's designed to print without support material. And Loubie designed this, and I'll put the link down in the description so you guys can download and print this yourself. And she designed it to be support-free printing. And there are some areas in here that are a little bit tricky for some printers, or could be areas that might be tricky for some printers. But if your printer is dialed in pretty good, it should handle all those areas pretty well. And the real big challenge here is this acorn. And on the silver print, the first print, it's a little bit rough. You can see a little bit of texturing going on there from a little bit of hot PLA going by. But my temperatures are dialed down to 196 from 209. So I know it's probably not temperature, it's probably print speed. And this would be a good area for one of those variable settings wizards to step in and do this part of the print a little bit slower, because you do have the little hands holding on to the acorn too. But those turned out pretty good. I am happy with the way those look. It's just the acorn itself. And there is one other problem area, and that's where the seam is, and that's on the back of the Squizzle. On the back of the Squizzle, there's an area there where the layer change is in the seam that has a lot of under extrusion going on. Basically no plastic was coming out. And that's on the exterior perimeter, which is the very last perimeter to print in this particular print setting. So I'm not sure why that would happen because it printed the two interior layers pretty good, you can see, and then there is some plastic there. So I'm thinking slowing it down was the cure for that. So that was one of the cures. The other one was my retraction settings, and that was to speed it up just a tad, another 5 millimeters quicker. So when it pulls off the plastic, it pulls the plastic out a little bit faster and doesn't leave so much stringing behind. And these are actually prints pretty much clean. I did pick off a little bit here and there, but most of that fuzzing that you see on the ears and a little bit here on the tip of the tail, but the tip of the tail actually printed out really, really good. But when the Squizzle prints, it'll be moving from this piece to this piece and give time for little parts of this to cool. But in the assembly stage, it'll print twice here, move to here, print twice here, move to here, print twice here. So it does a lot of double printing when it does these two little segments. But it did turn out really, really good on the tail. The rest of the seam issue is just basically on the tail itself. It's a little fuzzy there. It's almost like over extrusion on that part of the tail. And then when we moved to the back, we had under extrusion. So that was a really tough problem to try and solve. So my solve was basically just to slow it down. And both of these are printed with basically the same parameters, except for my retraction setting was a little bit faster on the Blonde. And also we slowed this down from 35 millimeters to 30 millimeters per second. But the rest of the settings were exactly the same. We used a 0.2 millimeter layer height with 3 top layers, 3 bottom layers, and 3 perimeters, and 10% infill. And that's it. Those are the basic settings for these prints. And again, I just dialed down I sped up the retraction from silver to blonde, and I also slowed it down from silver to blonde. And I think both prints actually turned out really, really good. On the blonde print, we have the same sort of issue around the acorn area, but it's not nearly as bad. You can actually see the little stem piece that's coming off the top of the acorn where it joins the body. It's much cleaner than it was on the silver one. And of course that seam area on the back, that is much, much better. There still is some under extrusion going on. There's still a few little holes there, but it's improved. And of course on the tail, there's still some spikes going on, but it's not as bad. So Again, this is a tricky one to solve because you have over and under extrusion going on at the same time in a print, which is a really tough one to try and solve. But the rest of the print itself, it turned out awesome. Loubie did an awesome job with this cute little Squizzle. This is an awesome little test model. It's definitely something you could scale down if you wanted a shorter print, because with the 30 millimeters per second, this was a 6-hour print, and with the 35 millimeters per second, this was a little over a 5-hour print. So these are a bit long for a test print as far as just like a quick test. But you could scale it down and even be more challenging for your printer, because obviously the ears and the tail and these parts of the acorn and the little hands that are holding would get much smaller, 50% smaller. But I'm really happy with the Squizzles. This is a very, very cool model. Both of these, my gMax did a stellar job on the print, and I really love both of these because who doesn't love a really cool Squizzle? Well, that about wraps it up for day 253 of the 3DP 365 project. If you're looking for ways to support the channel, check out the affiliate links down in the description. There's one for MatterHackers, Amazon, and GearBest. And if you use any of those links, it kicks a little bit back to the channel, it doesn't cost you a penny, and I really appreciate it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.